Two responses to one man's death exposed America's spiritual divide. In Charlie Kirk's memorial service, his widow, Erica, stood before a grieving nation and did the unthinkable. She forgave her husband's killer. Her words echo with divine grace that left hardened men weeping. But across town in a house of worship, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar took the stage with a different message. She called Kirk hateful, said those defending him were full of shit. Of course, the crowd erupted in applause. Two women, two choices. One channeled heaven's mercy, the other spewed hell's venom. The contrast reveals the battle for America's soul. It's not about politics anymore. It's about light versus darkness, and you need to see this. Now, let me ask you something. If you build $100,000 or more in investments, do you really want it all riding on the stock market? Think about it. Banks, billionaires, even entire countries loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value. So I'm going to tell you about Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to own investment-grade gold and silver, the same kind the big players are buying, and you can actually hold it in your hand or put it safely in your retirement account. You've worked hard to build your wealth. Isn't it time you protected it? Noble Gold is family-owned, trusted by thousands, and ranked #1 in gold IRAs 4 years in a row. Their precious metals specialists are standing by to answer your questions and walk you through every step. Simple, safe, easy. Visit nextnewsgold.com today. That's nextnewsgold.com. It's time to protect what you have built. And when you give them a call at 877-646-5347, tell them Gary Franchi sent you. Now, we all saw it. It was a moment of grace when Erica Kirk forgave her husband's killer.
That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
That moment will echo throughout history. And of course, there was a protester outside of Turning Point's sold-out campus tour stop in Minnesota tonight saying Erica Kirk has got to go.
She's sticking to another one. Erica Kirk has got to go. Erica Kirk has got to go. Erica is grifting on Charlie Kirk. Erica is grifting on Charlie Kirk.
I mean, these people are soulless. Absolutely soulless. You remember this moment? Patrick Neve on X reminded us all. Pope Saint John Paul II forgave the man who shot him. A historic photo from that moment. Pope John Paul II meeting with the man who shot him to forgive him. Here's the Fox News headline. I forgive him, showing the New York Post front page. I forgive him. Erica Kirk resting her head on President Trump's chest. President Trump consoling her. Erica Kirk's mercy for Charlie's killer. Trump gives eulogy at memorial. It was remarkable. But of course, over on the left, just shortly after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Representative Ilhan Omar, in a house of worship, this is what she said.
I do believe those of you are interested in rewriting this hateful man's history are full of shit.
Thank you.
She says that if the people who are whitewashing Charlie Kirk's history are full of it. This is how they incite more violence. Oh, but she wasn't done. Angie sent me this clip today. I couldn't believe it. Even Caitlin Collins was pushing back. This is 48 hours ago. All right, so this would put it right before the memorial. Ilhan Omar is incapable of feeling empathy or compassion for Republicans and Christians. Even CNN's Caitlin Collins looks disappointed and disturbed with the answers given throughout the interview with the Somali-born congresswoman. This goes on for about 7 minutes, and it is a case study in leftist hatred and how they justify it in their minds. And like I said, Caitlin Collins is even shocked by this. Caitlin Collins pushes back several times. I don't know if you've seen this, but I'm going to play this for you, and you are going to be blown away. But actually, you won't be. You won't be shocked. It's Ilhan Omar, after all.
His assassination. It is important for us to hold a mirror. There are so many people that are pretending the words that Charlie said don't exist. The way he made black women feel when he said we didn't have brain processing power to thought processing power to get ourselves into college and to be taken seriously as professionals.
Okay, so first of all, that's the first lie right there out of her mouth. She's parroting the Atlantic article. That the writer of that Atlantic article has since been fired, by the way. J.D. Vance calling out the writer of that Atlantic article when he sat in for Charlie Kirk. And that was before Ilhan Omar ran to CNN with this interview with Caitlin Collins. But she's still running with that narrative. See, this is how they just continue to take the sound bites and keep parroting them and parroting them and parroting them. They run on CNN, MSNBC, and they just keep spreading the lie. It doesn't matter. You know, J.D. Vance could go on Charlie Kirk's show. We could push back on it here. But the problem is she goes on CNN and continues to parrot the lies. But let's continue to watch. I just want you to pay attention to even how Caitlin Collins, of all people, pushes back. I don't think she pushes back on this, though.
Or as a black person, if you were a pilot and he walked on that plane, he'd be scared. These are actual words that this man has said, and I can't even begin. We will be here all day if I told you all of the things he has said about Muslims and immigrants and the trans community. He had hate for so many people, and he mocked the death of George Floyd. You know, this is not somebody I am going to sit back and say had a great legacy of bringing people together, because he did the opposite. And it is important, while we mourn his death and condemn his assassination and feel empathy for his kids and wife, we are not here to whitewash what he did while he was alive.
And no one is saying that you have to whitewash what he did, or that you have to defend what he said or the views that he held. But regardless of those views, do you believe the timing of saying that the day after that he was assassinated, the comments there, do you regret the timing of those comments?
Do you think Charlie regretted mocking George Floyd's death as his 7-year-old pled to the world on what happened to her child? I think saying what Charlie did and who he was has nothing to do with his assassination. It has nothing to do with the timing of his assassination. It is a matter of record.
I ask because the way former President Obama...
It's just a matter of record. She's just bringing... It's not about the timing. It's a matter of record. So nonchalantly, so straightforward, straight face. We're only 2 minutes into this.
put it, he also said he thought that Charlie Kirk's ideas and views were wrong.
Yes.
But he said, and I'm quoting Obama now, we have to extend grace to people during their period of mourning and shock. Does he have a point?
Okay, so now she invokes Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama, who is, the patriarch of the Democrat Party. Let's hear how Omar responds.
Yeah, I extend grace to his wife and kids. I cannot imagine what they are going through. But the reality is that his wife sat by him as he said those things and did not tell him that these are human beings who you are calling garbage, who you are saying they don't have the brain power because they were born in a different skin color. I do not understand how we are okay as a society with people who say that about our fellow Americans, a fellow human being, and regard them as a hero. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
No one is saying that you have to agree with him. I don't think it's surprising that his wife agreed with him, obviously, or that they shared similar views. I just think that what people looked at it is, the day after his shocking death, that his views were being litigated in that way. No one is saying you have to lionize him.
But we were responding to the people who were lionizing him. I was not going to have a debate on Charlie. We were responding to the people who wanted the debate on Charlie. I put out a tweet right when he was killed that political violence is wrong and that we should work everything within our power to end gun violence in this country. None of us were interested in litigating his life until...
Yeah. She says gun violence, right? It's the lunacy. It is inside the brain and the soul of the individuals who are committing these acts against conservatives, who committed the act against Charlie Kirk. Okay, it's not gun violence. It's pure hatred executed.
His supporters and our House Republican colleagues decided to say he was akin to Martin Luther King, who this man loathed. So you invited us into that debate that you wanted to have, that you said Charlie was always interested in. And so you cannot get upset. You can't be mad if people then hold that mirror and say, but here's really who he was. And we cannot forget. It's one thing to ask us to condemn the violence, but it's another for you to ask us to pretend Charlie wasn't who Charlie was.
I'm not sure anyone's asking that. I mean, maybe some people are.
That is what people are asking.
I'm certainly not asking that. But
that is what people are asking. People are asking and are getting fired for sharing Charlie's words.
Well, and some people were celebrating it. That was part of it. But
I haven't seen that. I've just seen people sharing his words.
There was a town hall that you had 6 days ago. You called Kirk a quote, hateful man, and you had reposted a video that I'm sure you've seen you've taken criticism for. It's a video that called him a reprehensible human being and said Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein and his monster shot him through the neck. Why repost that video?
Because there were a lot of things in the video that I did agree with. Obviously, we share videos. We don't have to agree with every single word. But I do believe he was a reprehensible, hateful man. Like, that is my view of the words that he has said about every single identity that I belong to. He didn't believe that we should have equal access to anything. He also just didn't even believe I could be smart enough. I could have thoughts that could be equal to a white man. Where are we missing this conversation about who this man was and the things that he said? Do you not find that reprehensible, Caitlin?
Well, of course I don't.
Do you think
I don't
subscribe
have to that? But
do you think I don't have the brain processing power like you or a white man?
Well, of course not. And I think it's very clear here that I'm not sharing his views, and I don't
say that would be reprehensible views?
I think the argument that was being made.
No, but I'm asking
what
you.
We have heard.
What I'm asking you is, would you say that?
Yeah, I understand what you're asking me.
But you're asking me, how could I find him reprehensible? Like, that is reprehensible. You said it is reprehensible yourself. That is vile, it's reprehensible, and it is hateful.
No, I'm not asking why you think he's reprehensible. I think you're obviously allowed to have your own views. That's why we have you on here so often, because we like to hear your views and what you think on something. I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father, and in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or it happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what
death.
I find jarring is that there are so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day. If it is important for us,
the amount of hate in Ilhan Omar is just, I just can't even fathom it personally. I mean, Erica Kirk forgiving the man who pulled the trigger, to Ilhan Omar just repeatedly, she wants Charlie Kirk relegated to the dustbin of history. She wants Charlie Kirk's memory to be ground into dust and discarded to the wind. That's Ilhan Omar. So from that town hall, we've got a longer clip here. You know, we showed you what she said here. Anyone trying to rewrite this hateful man's history is full of shit. The crowd erupting in applause. We have a longer cut of that moment. It's about a minute. You can watch this. Farm girl Carrie says, Ilhan Omar just digging herself in deeper.
That's not true. So I'm just wondering which approach is better, to call upon those who disagree with you to come to open debate and dialogue, or to say that those who disagree with you and have a different worldview are full of shit?
So you must have selective hearing, sir, because I said that the people who were full of shit were the people who were saying that Kirk was civil.
He was, yeah.
No,
that's not true.
The person who called for public execution of people he disagreed with is not civil. The person who said...
Okay, first of all, he never called for the public execution. He did say that Joe Biden should be executed if he's found guilty. There's a very big difference there. Okay? You have to go through a legal process to get the death penalty. And one certain individual is about to find out what that's like. So, but again, here she is spewing her lies, saying that he called for public execution. But she's leaving out the important part, that due process is required before that can ever happen. Unbelievable.
Was civil.
He was, yeah.
No,
that's not true.
And he was civil. He was absolutely civil. Okay, did Charlie Kirk go and firebomb Starbucks? Did he, burn down a Target, loot a Target, or a 7-Eleven to get his point across? No. He peacefully went to college campuses with a microphone and debated people. That's all he did. That's pretty civil, in my opinion. I hope I'm not missing. Am I right? That's civil, right? That's pretty civil.
Was civil.
He was, yeah.
No,
that's not true.
The person who called for public execution of people he disagreed with is not civil. The person who said you are a black woman, you lack the ability to process thoughts is not civil. The person who said because I am Muslim, I cannot be in this country because I want to destroy Western society is not civil. The person who said a 10-year-old should be forced to carry the child of her rapist is not civil. You
Yeah. So who's civil? Who's civil? This is civil.
That young man. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
You know what? We forgive Ilhan Omar too. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this moment will echo throughout history. Erica Kirk stood before the nation and forgave the man who murdered her husband. Think about that strength. That's Christianity in action. The same grace Pope John Paul II showed his would-be assassin. It takes supernatural power to forgive like that. Meanwhile, Ilhan Omar took a microphone in a house of worship, called Charlie Kirk, and the people who would supposedly whitewash him full of shit, and people applauded. The crowd cheered hatred of the dead. Even CNN's own Caitlin Collins looked disturbed. One woman chose heaven's path. The other chose hell's. This is the choice facing every American right now. Forgiveness or fury? Faith or hatred? Light or darkness? I ask you this. Which side are you on? Can you forgive your enemies like Erica Kirk? Let me know in the comments. If you stand with faith over fear, show it. Visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.